our channel. Hey yo, listen up, yeah. Hey yo, the wireless woman.
You in charge of the girls, right?
I am in charge of the girls.
Are you in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girls.
Okay.
All right. Hey, yo, Wi-Fi's. Welcome back to yet another underground transmission of the Wireless Woman. Go ahead and do me a big favor on your way in and like this video. Why? Because when you like it, well, I love it. And if you haven't already, shame on you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And click the bell for notifications of when I go live and when I upload new content. So I have been over on my TikTok account, which you should follow me on TikTok. A lot of interesting things happen over there. And the subject has come up several times. So since I am the sociology major, since I'm trying to be a female Dr. Umar, but not diametrically speaking.
No, Sister Terry, if it's over your head, jump off the live, baby.
I was talking about how men have a contract with other men to uphold patriarchy. We have to, as women, have a very deep understanding of that. Women in the Black community need to understand that men's contract with each other to uphold patriarchy is the reason that we have such a high level of misogyny in our community. This has been the methodology of white pathology to continue to infuse our community with that type of misogyny, because the master class, the master race, if you will, knows that this creates the type of division that will keep a community of people from being able to mobilize effectively. Now, the same way that I always tell y'all that misogyny is just racism's sexy cousin. Having a understanding of sociology, societies, and sociological imagination, institutions, and structures will show you that these things, while they're at work on this level, will still work in a microcosm, if you will. If it works on a large scale, it's going to work on a small scale. And so misogyny, patriarchy is the white supremacy, if you will, of the Black community. It is the thing that keeps a certain section and population of people subjugated, which is fine if oppression is your goal, but it becomes problematic when you need to mobilize with the same said people in order to accomplish a goal.
Real talk, you don't make enough money to be a misogynist. If you make under $200,000 a year, like, you can't hate women. You need their help.
Now, I'm going somewhere with this, but look at it this way. When we had the 2020 election and everybody went out and said, hey, we have to vote Democrat. Well, it was tough because there are divisions. And so just on numbers alone, there weren't necessarily enough Democrats to ensure a Democratic victory. So then it becomes a matter of like, okay, let's reach across the aisle, find out what the low-hanging fruit is, and see if we can pull them over to our side in order to ensure victory. And so we see that a large part of holding on to misogyny and patriarchy isn't just the men who uphold this pathology, who uphold these systems of oppression, but also the women, the Black women who love them and who give their strength and support to it, you know. So I have done a very long an ineffective job of introducing this video, but today we are going to be talking about For the Love of Ray Ray. Now, because men have this unspoken contract to uphold patriarchy, it is their maintenance of patriarchy that gives them access to manhood, that gives them access to the resources, to the prestige that comes along with being a recognized member of the fraternal order of manhood. The same way that you watch, Greek letter organizations and Masons and different organizations of people. You understand there's a hierarchy, there's a system here that the only way you can gain access is predicated on meeting certain standards of acceptance. And one thing that I have noticed when I talk to men who are susceptible, who are the low hanging fruit for the manosphere, is they will talk a lot about being rejected for some odd reason in middle and high school. See, that's where that therapy will come in and help, but I digress. So when we look at the socialization of men, the behavior patterns of men, a lot of times men wanted to be in close proximity, have all the women and all the girls, not because they liked girls,
What's the matter with you? You don't like women?
Yes, that's it.
not because they liked women, but because they wanted to prove something about their masculinity, about their prowess as a man to other men with the acceptance of women. And so this plays a large part in what we're watching work out between men and women. And women, we can't think like women and understand these principles. But when you really begin to peel back the layers, men want women. They want women to submit to them for the purpose of proving points to men and groups of other men. Even when we hear black men talk about getting white women, the underlying point is they'll say things like, this is us getting reparations, sticking it to the white man.
In America, we see a white woman. I couldn't have you. My daddy couldn't have you. My granddaddy couldn't have. I would get killed even looking at you. So now, if I play for the NBA, I want them all.
There's a man and the acceptance, the love of men behind these pursuits of women. There are men that would use women's bodies, minds, souls like a paper towel for their failure. And then turn around and go to their homeboys and their male friends and brag about it. And bring the value of these other women down on the basis of them having access to them, which is weird because you would think any woman that you accessed, you would want to be elevated by the fact that they were with you. But it's the low vibrational energy of these men trying to impress and gain acceptance with groups of other men.
Y'all niggas, and you gonna be niggas forever, just like us. Niggas.
And see, it's coming from this deep father wound. It's coming from men who don't have any other method by which to gain acceptance into the love, the fellowship, the camaraderie of men and manhood other than through the wombs, through the vaginas of women. So we'll hear a lot of men say things like, y'all choose Pookie and y'all choose Ray Ray. Like they really become incensed by the fact that other men were chosen in their place or in their stead, not even just by one woman, but by what they consider to be groups of women. You see, we as women have to begin to understand that it is other men, the rejection, the anger that men have towards other men that have us wrapped up in the middle of it. You see what I'm saying? They're mad because Pookie and Ray Ray got the girls, not because of your body count. They're mad because Pookie and Ray Ray had kids with all the women that they wanted to impregnate and make single moms. Not the fact that you're a single mom. It's the fact that Pookie and Ray Ray can walk into rooms and get women, which in turn gets them the adoration of these men. These men are hyper laser focused and obsessed with the men who get women. Because in their mind, these men are the progenitors of manhood, of that great fraternal order of misogyny and masculinity to which they feel left out of because of what? Access to women. So I think we have to deconstruct our views as women around what the actual goal and point is, because we as women are still out here thinking that these men want us and that they want to be with us and that they love us and that they no, see, we are social currency, women. Our femininity, our choices, our options, all of these things are not entitlements. See, men are entitled to women. They're entitled to women because they are men. They're manly men. And their manliness as men in the eyes of other men is measured by their access to women. So we have to begin to get smarter about how we leverage that, about how we use femininity as collateral. Listen, I don't make the rules. I wish that it wasn't this way. But people are leveraging love. They're telling us that certain elements of relationships are about love when they're not. And I can tell you how I know. Because men will say things like, it's unrealistic for a woman to expect to get a good man, because they'll say these are the good men, but they'll say it's unrealistic for a woman to get a good man and not expect him to cheat. So they're basically letting you know this thing is not about love, commitment, fidelity. It is about access. It is about access to the things that femininity provides men. It's about the acceptance of other men.
What's the matter with you? You don't like women? Huh?
Yes, that's it.
It's about the love of Ray Ray. That's what it's about for them. And I even have this conversation because, listen, I get in here and I dispense this thing, but baby, I'm in a whole full relationship. So I got the first and the second hand on whether or not what I'm saying is hidden. And that's what my partner says. He's like, it's tough being a man in those situations because when you are wearing a wedding band, when women do know that you have a woman, it makes them want you more. See what I'm saying? See, there is that same attachment to manhood as a result of the access to a woman. It creates currency for men on both sides of the board. They get the respect and the adoration of men, the more women that they can get. And they get more women as a result of having access to women. So we as women have to begin to be the ones that set the standard for what manhood and the participation of men in relationships with us will be. Because if we don't start to use femininity as a social currency instead of being worried about these emotions, these feelings, so deep in my feelings, if you don't get out those, it's going to end up tanking us all. It's kind of like how capitalism and racism works. See, racism isn't even a white thing. We think it is, but it's not. It is a hierarchy. It's an oppressive system because you will even talk to other white people who are caught up in oppression. And they will say things like, I had it hard too. I was poor. Those white people equate being poor with being black. So even under that concept, race is a social construct, just like gender. Men are projecting onto us what their perspective of womanhood and femininity is. They're giving you the exchange rate, if you will. They're saying, okay, listen, we might marry you. We might even work and pay a couple bills in the house. We might even take that badass kid you had to the park and throw a ball with them one day out of the month. If you do all these things. And so we understand from economics that when you have more of a certain nation's currency, social currency, out in the market, the value of that currency is going to go down because it's in such great supply. So, women, it's time. It's time for us to take back our power, to use social currency in a more responsible way. Okay? We got to stop buying Benz, Beamers, and Bentleys because we're making a certain group of people rich. They have no plans to actually come back and enrich the population. You know, we got capitalists that are up there doing nothing to help regular people, doing nothing about healthcare reform, doing nothing to help you pay them student loans. That was the reason why you weren't supposed to buy them Beyonce tickets. That was the reason why. So when you get out here and you vote and you get out here and you do all these things and nothing changes, you have to vote with your wallet. You got to start a boycott. You got to take your power back in the ways that people count the currency of your support, of your engagement, of your adoration, of your opinion, your sociological imagination of them. And women, as long as we have men at the top of these totem poles, as long as we have men at the forefront, as long as we have them at the center, they're going to always be what they call the market maker. They're going to always be able to set the market for how valuable we are as women. And if we haven't seen over the past couple of years what they really think, what this has really been about, who they really love, who they really want to impress. Well, we're seeing it now. So if you see what I see and you feel as I feel,
but if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek.
Well, go ahead and drop that fire headphone emoji in the comments. I look forward to engaging with you there. But until the next transmission, y'all already know the drill. You already know the drill and the deal. Go ahead and clock out for me.
Now, this is your place, but I am in charge of the girls. You can just kiss my ass.